Good morning, it's Mr. Pete again, your YouTube shop teacher, and I'm here in a 50-acre soybean field in northern Illinois, and I'm with John Mortland, and we're going to combine it in a big John Deere Combine. So get ready for some action. You may remember last year we harvested the same field, only it was Illinois corn. So the beans are pretty dry this morning, but they could be a little drier in terms of the trash down on the ground, but we're going to give it a try here and follow along. I hope you enjoy the video. This is a back view of the great Vactor factory where Jordan works, and they're having a terrible time getting truck chassis. They've had a lot of layoffs. Pretty narrow there between that fire hydrant and that pole. Got to kind of clean up the edge of the field here.
That would go pop when we ran that through.
Yeah, that would pop, he said, but there's a lot of this foam and other stuff that blows into the fields.
Alright, I just wanted to say a couple words about Mr. Pete and some of the work he's done in his videos, and they're just, for me, wonderfully entertaining. My name's John. He's made a couple of videos of the farm and a couple of machining railroad steam engine videos with me, but this guy has done so many good things for people on the internet to teach them the right and the safe way to operate their machinery or their equipment or machinery, and I've learned so much that I really appreciate it. So he might edit this all out, so if he does, that's the way it is.
Well, thank you, John. I hope that the audio is okay on that, because we got the combine roaring in the background there. John is going to turn the machine off so it's a little quieter, and then he can talk a little bit about how this machine actually operates and what it does. And it's a John Deere S660 combine. And how wide is that head, John?
That's 30 feet.
It's a 30-foot head.
Normally don't go down the road with that very far, as you can well tell. There's
I can see you barely made it between that hydrant and that pole.
Right, it's tight. So we go slow. In the beginning, let's start. We're going to do this soybean field today. 54 acres. We're going to do it in about 4 hours if we don't break anything. 54-acre
field.
It's damp. This bottom is still wet, so we're not in a big rush to start in this morning.
Yeah, we got moisture down there close to the ground.
Excellent weed control. You don't hardly see a weed out there.
Boy. And this is Roundup field?
You want to admit to that?
No, we're not going to talk about Roundup. You know what number to call.
I don't care if you edit it out or not, but it's only illegal in California. Everybody else thinks it's fine. So is air, water, and coffee in California. This is the sickle that cuts it off. It's got it way high now, but this is 100-year-old technology. It hasn't changed in 100 years. Except these bolt on, so they're quick change.
There's this, instead of being riveted.
Riveted was a pain, as you will imagine. Oh
yeah, those are pretty sharp.
They are. We change them. That's a brand new one. Okay. That's what took us time.
Yeah.
They get worn out.
So they just do this back and forth.
Yep. And It's important to keep this edge sharp too. It's like scissors, it has to cut. Okay, so for those of you who haven't ever been around a piece of equipment like this, it cuts the material off, feeds it in. Let's walk around this side again. There's more of that debris. That's gonna be
Yeah, there's a lot of trash in the field.
so,
Is this alfalfa here, John?
Yep, that's hay.
This is a hay field.
Well, I cut that again. It's not ours.
They get 3 cuttings out of it, you think?
I need to tighten this chain. Watch me do that. Material feeds up through that feeder house into the machine. It goes into a what you might call it a big cylinder or barrel shape. It's big. It's probably, I don't know, 4 or so feet in diameter, spinning with a closed tolerance down to what they call a concaves. So it's probably 10 millimeters or a ½ inch or so distance. It's taking that material through and knocking the, as that goes through that narrow space, it just knocks those beans out of there like that.
Oh, and there's the actual seeds or beans.
It's just,
So that's what it's doing.
it's rotating through there and it's squeezing them down and squeezing those beans out of there. These are still damp, I can tell. So now you got a bunch of this stuff and these going back through the back, and there's shakers, fingers that are shaking like that, and it lets the beans through but keeps this on top. It goes through all that, shakes down to these augers. Some of the material's unthreshed, comes through this tailings auger and goes back up and goes through again. If it's clean and comes through the other one, it comes through this auger and goes on up into the grain tank. Usually clean as a whistle. That material keeps on coming on through here. It comes back to this point. This is filthy from yesterday. And hits this chopper. That thing is a piece of equipment, I'll tell you. It takes around 50 horsepower to run that, I guess.
Really? That much?
Because it's chopping all this other stuff into little smithereens. Like this. When it comes out of there, it looks like that.
So this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what's left.
We were in the wind yesterday. Blew that right back up on there. So that's our auger car.
There's the auger wagon.
Let's cut that out. So we're kind of stalling here for a minute or two because it's a little damp. And other than that, what do you got? The door is still not shut properly.
There's a lot of dust.
If they want to look in here, you might want to, you can edit all this out if you want. There's the inner workings of it. Actually, it looks primitive when you look at it that way.
And you can see here why these things cost well over 100,000, sometimes 200,000.
This was 250,000 used.
250,000 used as
Not
well.
including the head.
Not including the head. And you have to have a bean head and a corn head.
Yeah. I told the dealer the whole works was going to cost $1 million when I retired, and I'm not far off now. He laughed at me 40 years ago, but it's coming true. If you go order the full-size boat, it'd be $1 million. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to use this stuff. There's a fan under there. I don't know how far you want. It blows the air up through all that chaff to help separate that chaff out of there. It moves a lot of air. It's variable speed. You can change the speed of it. Cam.
Yeah, there's a lot of machinery here, but you can break it down into components. Separate mechanical devices, some of them fairly simple, but there's just so many of them that it really drives the cost up, and it's all hydraulic, isn't it, John?
And electric.
And electric, okay.
Which is a problem. I think we have more electrical trouble than anything else.
Really?
We had to put that on new before we started. That was, I don't know, $1,500. That's an electric clutch.
Oh man.
It's just unbelievable. That's
Yeah.
a big thing. This is
Repair parts are
Well,
terrible.
with the sensor in the dry bend unit that was $1,600.
Yeah. I don't know. Talk about money. Can you see in the shade? This is Dale. He's our cart man. Very experienced. 20 years.
Hi Dale.
20 years.
I think
And how they're fine when they work. We had a sensor that went bad up on the top of that combine. Went down to the dealer who actually didn't have it, which is a problem this year. Parts are hard to come by this year. We're just holding on, hoping everything hangs together. Anyway, that little sensor, which would fit in a box this size, was $1,800.
wow.
That's what I said. Wow.
And you're lucky to get it with the shortage of chips.
It's true. They had one in their whole system, and I got it. So
Oh gee.
anyway, grease. It's like Vaseline.
I'll be darned.
There comes my fitting. Oh, one more. There you go. This only needs it once in a while.
How come you don't have a $300 DeWalt grease gun?
This is a $10 Big R gun.
And it's good enough.
I found that when it's junk, you throw it away and you go buy another $10 one.
Mm.
But I do have an Alamite, which I have to say is one of the better ones we got. This one is every day, about 10 pumps. One on each end. We'll lower it down to this. Oh, can't hardly reach it. I swear. There's only about 5 grease fittings on this thing that you need to grease every day. 5 fittings, well, I guess 6 every day on this machine. 2 of them are up under here where it's so darn hard to get at.
Here's the hardest fitting to grease on this combine.
There's 2 of them in there. You can feel them, but you can't hardly see them.
You got to do it by touch and feel.
Yeah, I kind of do. So I'm getting where I can't get under here very well. I try to do this at the end of the day sometimes.
John's a lot younger than me. He's still quite agile.
Not much.
He just muttered, and not very.
There's one.
Okay, we got to get this chain tightened up a little bit. He's got the guard off now.
I got a special tool for that job right here. On board. Put a little pressure on that. You don't want to chains too tight. You want them in between.
Yeah.
You want chains snug but belts tight. That's what I've been told.
Well, I knew that when I was 9 years old with my bicycle chain.
All right, that's better.
All right.
That's better.
Now we'll get that guard back on there, but I'm not going to film that.
All right, we'll have her on there.
No. I want to see if I can do it with one hand.
All right.
I'm going to try to climb this combine with one hand. Well, that wasn't easy, and the footage is probably about worthless. All right, we're aboard the combine. We're finally ready to go, but the field is still a little too wet, and he's hoping the machine doesn't plug up. So let's see what happens.
Ready?
Here we go. bogging down a little bit?
You can hear it, feel it. We're gonna do something different.
Still a little bit wet.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? You got to harvest the crop.
Keep going as long as we can. Now we're getting some speed up.
How many acres is this field, did you say?
54.
54 acre field, and the going price is about $12.75 a bushel. And what do you think your yield will be per acre?
Around 60, 65 hopefully.
About 60 or 65 bushels per acre, hopefully.
Right now this says it's making 61, see that? There's 61 dry on these ends. And we're doing about almost 9 acres an hour at this slow speed.
And we're going
Right now 3.8.
3.8 miles an hour.
We try to get up over 4 as the day goes on. Now we'll be back on autopilot. Hopefully it'll take us right down there, straight as a string.
Okay, we're on autopilot.
Somewhere.
Almost.
Just gotta find it. There.
There we go. Look, Ma, no hands.
Drink coffee. This is over, I hope.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that took a long time back and forth. I'm gonna try to make some ends here. What do I got in my hop? I better dump. Now the beer's in. There he is.
Yeah. There's a deer down at the end of the field there. I don't know if it's going to show up or not. I'm surprised he's not scared off.
I'm not afraid of last night in the sun. See.
Well, there's Dale. We're going to dump.
Just a hair slower.
Soybean gold. That didn't take long. That'll hold 1,000 bushels.
Yep. I'm gonna try to take these off.
Well, here's the semi when we're ready, and you say that holds about 1,000 bushels?
Some more of that debris. We're gonna chop that up.
Somebody's pool toy.
They must not want it.
Did you hear it pop? I didn't either. 1,000 bushels. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up here when we get to the end of the field. I think John's had enough of me.
I can talk to you all day long.
Right here is good, John. You don't have to go all the way over to the car. And I thank you very much, John. And I hope the viewers liked it.
Well, I hope so did too.
I got a harsh shadow there.
Okay.
And this was a fun deal. And you got, what, about 3 or 4 more hours?
In this field,
yeah,
about 500 more acres to do.
Yeah.
At least we don't have to have these on this year.
Yeah, this year we don't wear masks. Things are getting better. All right, John, thank you very much.
Glad to have you.
I picked a few soybean plants so you could see what they look like. And this is what the pods look like. And then after they go through the combine, of course, there are the actual soybean seeds or kernels. The actual beans themselves. And that's what they look like in the pod. Soybeans have hundreds of uses. Here are a few of them. Notice that biodiesel is a big product of soybeans.